This is a great moment for me to introduce you to some new exercise equipment that I am introducing to naturalgallantbodybuilding.com. So you guys are aware of the exercise rocks and the exercise stick, which have been selling, well, let's just say not so well. So I have to come up with another piece of equipment, and that is called the bench rock, okay? Bench rock. Remember that? You saw it here first, and this is an exclusive offer. I only have one for sale for $35,000 plus $100,000 shipping.
Train the muscles, not the joints.
Welcome back to Natural Gallant Bodybuilding Mountain. And today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about getting acclimated to certain exercises. Now, when I was training when I was 14, 15 years old, I had access to a squat rack. I was really lucky, right? A bench press. I had an incline bench that was made out of pure iron that my father's friend welded together, and they just put some foam on it. They just glued some foam on top, right? So it was a pretty thin incline, but it was just mostly for incline curls and maybe a little bit of shoulder work and stuff. It wasn't really even adjustable. And I had a leg curl and a leg extension, which basically was just a bench with a leg extension where you could put plates on and stuff. So the weight was really heavy at the top and really light at the bottom, which thinking back on it now was actually kind of genius in a way. But the bottom line is that this was what I had to work with, right? So I didn't have heavy dumbbells. I had all barbells mostly, and the dumbbells that I had only went up to 40 pounders. So of course, the ego at 15, 16, 17 years old is like, hey, that's not heavy enough for bench presses, so I'm definitely not doing that. I'll just stick to the barbell stuff where I'm using, 150 to 200 and something pounds or whatever for reps, right? So when I first got to the gym, I started noticing a lot of guys using dumbbells for presses, for inclines, for flat and declines and so forth. And so I started to mess around with dumbbells, although my ego at first didn't like it because I was lifting a lot heavier on a barbell bench because that's what I was used to. So at first I experienced something really strange. And don't worry, I'm getting to my point here. At first I realized that when I'm doing flat dumbbell bench, even when I was doing lighter, I was getting this real weird muscle knot in the armpit. It was like my rotator cuff just didn't know how to compute what was going on when the dumbbells were moving separately, as opposed to the barbell where it was stabilized for me. So there was a certain learning process that went on, and it took about a month or two of me just revisiting the dumbbells here and there and using lightweight when nobody was looking, right? Because that's the way it was when I was a kid, So I was using lighter weight, and then I started to get the groove down, and then slowly but surely that weird pain in the armpit just went away because it was just kind of like a weird muscle knot sort of scenario. So what my point is that some exercises may not feel right for you at first. So I know on this channel I'm always talking about paying attention to the sensations in your body and making sure that you're not ignoring stuff. But at the same time, that doesn't mean not pushing through certain levels of discomfort from time to time, because sometimes the discomfort is just because there are certain muscle groups that aren't firing properly yet that need to be strengthened. So if you notice that there is an exercise that is not working well for you, what I recommend is going lighter, at least 40, 50% lighter in that exercise, if not more. And just slowly playing around with that exercise for a period of a couple months. And then from there, you may notice a change or a shift in how the dynamic of that exercise works on your body. And because of this, you can start then progressive overloading it as far as working into higher levels of intensities. Now, that doesn't mean that it might be the exercise that you want to go heavy in, because some exercises are more suited to that type of training. If you're noticing that some exercises are just awkward and they get less awkward as you go, but they're still a little bit strange or they feel a little bit weird, those are not the exercises that you want to start doing 5-rep sets with, or super heavy weight. You don't want to be doing super heavy weight with those types of exercises. You want to make sure that you feel very comfortable doing the exercise and you're not out of balance and that your groove is there, because that's when injuries happen, is when the groove is off, you lose your balance, or something pulls when it's not supposed to, So that said, if you find an exercise is awkward at first or is causing you some sort of pain, back off on the weight. That's the first thing you want to do, and start playing around with the groove, playing around with the range of motion, and start getting acclimated to that exercise. And trust that through the subtle rehabilitation process, that something magical happens. And I'm going to tell you another experience that backs this up. I hope that you're still tuning into the video by now, because sometimes people drop off because they think that I've said all I'm going to say, but don't do that with my videos, because I always have something else to say that's also going to apply. In this example, what happened was I was relearning how to skate again at 32 years old. I was playing hockey, and I had played hockey as a kid when I was only 80 pounds, 75 pounds or something like that. That's when I quit playing hockey. So you can imagine at 210, playing hockey was a different experience, of course, with the years of weight training and different types of coordination, and no skating for like 25 years. I didn't skate for like ever, right? So what happened was I got on the ice and I noticed that no matter how coordinated I got, it seemed like some things or some subtleties just weren't firing in the ankle and in the calf. And I wasn't able to stop in a certain way or turn in a certain way. And it didn't matter how much practice I did or how much instruction happened. My mind was telling my foot to do something and it just wasn't naturally happening. Now, fast forward a couple of years of skating, and what happened was I didn't grow in coordination, right? I started to be able to stop on my left side. I was stopping on inside or outside foot, whatever, and doing these different types of things. But what happened was that there was a natural strengthening that happened in subtle muscles that had to be revisited over and over and over again. And then naturally, I just had the ability to turn or edge or skate or stop and do these specific types of movements on skates that I couldn't do before because I just didn't have the strength. So sometimes you have to wait for the small muscles to catch up. And it's not just a coordination thing. Sometimes it's just a muscular strength thing, which coordination can play a factor in, but sometimes it's just the muscles need to be developed enough so that they can do the job. So this is the reason why you want to not discard exercises altogether if they don't necessarily work for you right away. Sometimes it's just a matter of some subtle muscles that need to catch up, and that's why you just start light and just take your time with those exercises. And you can work heavy with the exercises that you are acclimated to and that do work for you really well. So I hope this helps you out in your training. Thanks a lot for watching. If you need to get a hold of me, just go to naturalgallantbodybuilding.com, and thanks to the patron supporters, and take care for now. Mountain. I got to be careful sometimes when I pose like this because it's so statuesque that sometimes birds, they fly right in the window and they shit on me. So I got to watch that. Natural Gallant.